It's crazy that anime is a thing now. Like everybody's like, okay, it's cool. You're not a dork anymore. It's like fucking when I was in anime, it was like,
Listen, bro, I've loved anime since I was a kid. You know what's crazy? I was talking to Slim about that because I was like, bro, it's crazy how there's inherent shame in liking anime because on dating apps and stuff like that, right? Like I'll be on there and like I have all my profile that I like anime. Well, when I used to use them anyway, but I would have on there like, oh, I like anime. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a question I ask is like, what's your top 3 anime? And a lot of women they like hit me up and they're like, oh my god, you like anime? I was like, I feel like everybody likes anime nowadays,
yeah. I was
and
like,
they're like, no, man, like no one ever talks about it. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
I mean,
But there's like a weird inherent shame that guys feel like dorks
yeah, yeah.
for like liking that shit.
Well, I mean, I didn't really care because I mean, it wasn't back when I was in it. I'm talking about like before Dragon Ball Z, like fucking old
Mhm.
ass fucking Voltron, the car Voltron, not the fucking lion
Yeah,
Voltron. Like,
yeah.
anyways, but whatever.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, you can see the case back here. I mean, for the episode listeners, it's only going to be audio, or unless we can figure this video out this time. I know last time we couldn't, but we'll get it done. But yeah, no, I always love having the anime case in the background. Plus, it helps with the echo
Yeah,
because normally, I'm on the other side of the table to where it's a giant just
yeah, yeah,
opening.
yeah, yeah. So
So
when you have
all
a
you can do
guest
is
there, it's like
hear the
echo.
echo.
Like I was like, God,
Yeah. Well, see, I think now what I'm gonna do is when I only have the audio playing instead of the video, I'm just gonna sit next to them. Like we're just gonna be a little bit closer, but because that way there's another wall over here to the
mm.
side where that should cut down on the echo also. So I don't know. I'm gonna try that next time
Well,
that I
you could
have an
do
in
that in
person
video
guest.
too. Be that close and just have the camera pointing. So if you're side by side, you're like an L, have the
Mhm.
camera between you. So you like yeah, instead of having it
Yeah.
like across from the table and you're over here and you have the camera this
Yeah.
way or pointing this way, you have both of you. Hang on, both of you are here.
Like sitting side by
Yeah, and then
side.
the camera is
Yeah.
like between you with the whatever.
Just in the middle.
That way it splits and it catches
Yeah.
both of y'all, and you're closer,
Now that actually makes a lot
and
of
then you'll
sense.
be closer on the camera too, and you won't be like little bitty stick figures on the table.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense. That is probably something that we should do. I just want to make sure that we had got like both of
Mhm.
us. And then, before what we were doing is the way that we were recording it, the best way it sounded was us being on the opposite sides of the table. Because for some reason, when one of us was closer to the
Yeah,
microphone,
you'd
like
catch
because
each
I was
other.
just
Yeah.
recording on my phone. Yeah, so it would cut the other person talking off, and it would just pick up breathing, where it was like weird. So, but
Uh,
I mean, if y'all are watching the video because we got it figured out, y'all will see Boogie looks less like Donald Trump because he finally got himself a white light.
yeah.
So we're less orange
Right.
today. Hey man, I was thinking about that last time. It was crazy. I saw the clip you posted on Instagram, and I was like, I am so orange.
And if I tried to fix it, then you'd either be pink or green. Like I couldn't. The way we're set up together, either I'd be fine, or
Yeah,
you'd be a fucked up color, or I'd be a fuckt up color. Like, you just gotta run with it. But
yeah. So I kind of would have wanted the green, so it looks like I'm doing it sick. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Michael
right.
Jordan flu game. Fuck it.
Oh, heads
Well, guys, if y'all are, huh?
heads up
Go
real
ahead.
quick. I'm up for 23 hours now. Like I just didn't realize it because I've been just doing a whole bunch of
Jesus
errands and
Christ.
stuff. I'll be fine. I'm just letting you know if I
Yeah.
start like not enough, but like I'm not gonna be as sharp as I would be normally. So just a heads up.
Got it. Okay, so give you a little extra long
Right.
time to answer the questions. Got it. Well, guys, for those of y'all that are hearing our voices, that's a familiar voice that I'm sure that y'all are hearing before. And if you haven't heard it, you need to go back and listen to our other episode, man, because we have a dating sexpert here. You know what I'm saying on Block Talk this week, which is how I love describing him to everyone I talk to. But guy, go ahead and introduce yourself, brother, to the people that don't know you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gaio, the chivalrous chauvinist. I am the Sucia Supreme, and I host Sucias are my favorite podcast about life, dating, and relationship advice with a kink twist. And you got to listen to the show if you want to find out what the twist is.
Always got to listen, man. You got to leave them wanting just a little
Right?
bit more. But it's good stuff, man. I've done two
Two
appearances on there
appearances.
now, and it's
You'll be
great.
coming out on Monday in the next episode. So after you air,
Dope.
so after
Yeah,
this
man. You got to make
airs,
sure
if
to
this is
listen.
coming out Friday, you can catch.
Yeah, no, next Friday though.
Okay,
Yours will be out
okay. So then
first.
yeah, by the time so go
So
back
yeah,
and listen to that one. There we go.
yeah. Make sure you go back and listen to it. Check out Sucios are my favorite. It will have dropped Monday to hear your boy me and Guy will be misogynistic assholes, as women describe us,
Eh, from time to time.
or
Oh,
alt right.
wait, what was that? Well, we caused sexual assault, like that real.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
man,
my god, that shit escalated so
yeah.
quickly. So for those that don't know, man, check out Sushi's on my favorites Instagram. Guy posted a reel of me and him talking, and a woman posted on there that we obviously did not have love in our lives. And then some guy was like, "Oh, typical of a woman to be posting on how a man should feel." And then she was like, "Yeah, women are so controlling. How dare we try to control men not to sexually assault us?" So I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my god, this escalated
It was
so
like the
quickly."
third reply, third comment. I was like, oh man, shit.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I was gonna stay out of it at first because I was like, "Oh, you should never just jump in the comments like that." But then that shit, I was like, "I gotta say something." I was like, "That was
man, I was
wild."
like, so I woke up to like 20 replies, like, oh shit, because I'm a night shift. So
Yeah,
by the time I woke up, I was like, oh damn,
yeah,
that was crazy.
yeah. It blew up. But today, guys, we have a special thing that Boogie does also not know about because he didn't have time to do research this week because he's been doing 14-hour days. So I'm also gonna be finding out. Let's talk about the theory of
Oh
100.
man. So Theory 100. Something I kind of came up with, or not even came up with. So because I'm in roller derby, and I traveled from Gulfport, Mississippi, all the way to San Antonio, all across I-10, all the major towns, all the little small towns, up to Austin, up to Dallas, all the little towns between, like Temple, Killeen, all those little places. All these little places had
Yeah.
roller derby teams, and I was traveling basically every weekend. So for about 2 years, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was hitting a different town every day. And while I was there making new friends, talking to them, because roller derby is a female dominated sport, just shooting the shit.
Mhm.
And of course, because I was one of the few guys that was around, and so the ratio is kind of like 20 to 1 female to male ratio. And of course, hey, I'm the new hot thing. Hey, what's up with this guy? And everybody wants to talk to me. Conversation obviously always goes lead to sex. And so in those conversations, normally the way I approach it whenever I'm talking with the female about sex or whatever in general, I try to get a feel for what she's interested in, what she's willing to do, what she's down for. So that way I know, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pursue this one. Like, oh no, you're hot, but you don't give head on the first date and you don't do anal until like the anniversary. I'm not fucking with you. So having all these little random conversations, I realized just talking to
Yeah.
them about different things, what they're into, what they don't like. Eventually, the conversation came up to, how women don't finish. They don't really finish that often. They don't come, essentially. And most guys, so I said, okay,
Mhm.
well, what are your numbers? So let's say, hypothetically speaking, you slept with 10 guys, just 10 guys in your life. And each of those guys, you slept 10 times with them for a total of 100. How many times did you come?
Okay.
And more often than not, they would say like, oh, about a third of the time, 1 out of 3, whatever. That's the more often reply that they had. And then other women would say, oh, about 50%, oh, about 60% of the time. So the numbers kind of varied, but it was never more than like 75%. There's only 2 women that said that they finished 100% of the time or every single time. And that's because they told their partners what they like, what they want, and they communicated what is it they need to be able for them to finish.
Mhm.
So then I was like, okay, so out of if you only finished 45% of the time, did every guy make you finish 4.5 times, or like what are the numbers? Ask them to break it down, because there's no way someone can get you there 4.5 or 3.5 or 7.5 or whatever. And so they said, no, well, there's only like one or two guy, like one guy would get me there maybe twice, and two or three other guys would get me there um, 3 or 4 times, and the numbers would get smaller and smaller. So it would start off low. It'd be kind of like a bell curve. So it would be a little bit, a couple of
Yeah.
times, a lot, and then the last two guys, one guy would get her there 7 times, and one other guy would get her there every single time. And those are the guys that later on they would admit that got them digmatized. If they called them up and told them, "Hey, show up," or "I'm out of town, drive 3 hours or 2 hours to come see me," they'd come through. And so this conversation was interesting. So I wondered, okay, what about guys? Do guys have the same issue? What's up with guys? And so asking other referees, asking other skaters, asking other officials, and then just coworkers and male friends, like, hey, if you same thing, 10 women, 10 times each, how many times did you finish? Most guys finish 95% of the time or more. Um, there were a couple that said that they didn't finish because they either have an ED issue because they were older, they were like 45 plus, so they had erectile dysfunction, um, or they just weren't that interested in sex anymore. Like they just kind of lost their libido because they lost testosterone because they're older.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing was that when they went out on the date, they rubbed one out. They, jacked off before the date because they didn't think they were going to have sex, or they get called up,
Mm.
after they rub one out, like, oh shit, okay, fine, I'll go over and end up having sex when they weren't expecting it, or they got whiskey dick because they got too drunk, or they have an issue that they just have a long time to finish. So usually it takes them longer to finish than it takes to finish for a woman, right? And you're an example of that. And so when I got these numbers down, okay, so most guys finish 95+% of the time. Why is that? What's so special about women? Is it something about women? And come to think about it, there's nothing special about pussy, because going deeper into the questions is, if you finish all the time, is it because women are great? Like, no. If you're not be able to get there, you'll sit there and think and dream, fantasize, whatever. Either picture an old girlfriend, picture someone else you did something freaky with, picture a porn star, picture a celebrity. You'll come up with something mentally, have that picture there to get you to finish. So it's not anything particularly special about the female that gets you to finish, because guys, fuck, all we need is a wet hole, fucking fleshlights. Um, and so for
Yeah.
women, they need more response from the guy. They need to have that connection. They need to have the guy be able to read and understand their body language. Whenever they're panting and moaning. Sorry, we've got a thunderstorm here that's weird. So we got like a Houston thunderstorm in Reno, which is rare. It's like it's a desert,
Oh
so
wow.
it's kind of like, it reminds me of home right now,
Yeah.
hearing all the thunder, and everybody else. I'm freaking out. I'm getting like text messages. Oh my god, did you see? It's raining. It's hailing. Blah blah blah. So, anyways, like
It's
yeah, it's
hailing.
rare
Oh
out
wow.
here. Like we get more snow than rain. So
Yeah.
so
Interesting.
essentially, it boils down to, few men are capable to get women to finish, get women to come. And so those guys have more value than women in general. But most people would assume, or most women would assume, that because all guys always finish, then they got some bomb ass pussy, and that is not always the case.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of truth in that. So just to kind of break that down, most guys that I know, I mean, the last time that you were on the podcast, I mean, Tommy said it himself. He's like, there's never not been one time that I haven't finished. Because, I always tell women all the time, like when I have sex, and, they always tell me that, oh, you're such a selfless lover because you care like more about me coming and stuff like that. Which, I mean, I do want her to enjoy herself. But at the same time, it's just like, no, it takes me like a really long time. Like when I say a long time, like even like, this is not like whiskey dick or like me jacking off, like none of that. Like just going straight off. Like if I haven't had sex in like, let's say 3 days, right? Something like that. And like I really just got it like built up like that. The shortest amount of time I've ever gone for is like maybe 30 minutes. And like to me, that's like a quickie. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember uh I was 16 and I had my first girlfriend or whatever. And no, sorry, I was 17. I was 17 years old. Me and this is the girl I lost my virginity to or whatever. We had sex the first time or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, it's great," blah blah blah. The next time, her parents are about to come home, and she's like, "Hey, we don't have a lot of time," and she's like, "We could do a quickie though." I'm like, "Perfect." So I'm going like a jackrabbit. I'm going as fast as I can, as hard as I can. She's gone like twice already, and she's like, "Are you almost done?" She's like, "It's been like 25 minutes." I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm nowhere near like anywhere close." So for like me, what ends up having to happen a lot, honestly, like no bullshit, I'll have sex with a woman and she'll go to completion however many times, because some women, they're like, I want it 3-4 times, whatever the fuck, and they'll come a bunch of times and they're like, okay, now I'm tired, like I want you to come, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen, like, so you're just gonna have to get off, and like, I'll rub one out, I guess, if you want to kiss me and stuff like that, like, because they ask me that, how can I get you to come, and like, I tell them my hot spots and stuff like that, where I'm like, this will help, this will help, this will help. But especially now, listen, this is gonna sound like bullshit, but I'm so serious. I know a lot of men that use the excuse like, "Oh, I can't come with a like I can't stay hard with a condom on because they're trying to just hit it raw or whatever." Where I tell them, I'm like, no, 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 listen, like I don't give a fuck. Like I can stay hard. I was like, the problem is I'm never gonna come with this condom on.
Mhm.
Like it's just not gonna happen. And that's again, I'm not even trying to hit it raw. I'm like, I'm just gonna take it off and beat my meat like it owes me money. And most of the time they're cool with that shit or whatever. I guess the first couple times, but I also get tested very often. But anyway, I know I'm the exception for that though, for that rule of 100. And the exception never makes the rule, because I can honestly say, for me personally, on the scale of 100, it'd have to be maybe like 50 to 60 on the high end. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm not getting myself there. Like, it's actually just like through,
Mhm.
through vaginal penetration. That's the word I was looking for. I was trying
Right.
to think of the medical term of it.
PIV.
But yeah, through vaginal penetration, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, and like you said, though, guys, most of the time, because I tell women all the time, right, where they're like, oh, I want you to come. I'm like, listen, if it goes up and down, it's going to spit eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing special to making a dick come. I was like, whereas in a woman, I think it's more so in her
Mhm.
head, like you said. And going back to pussy isn't special, um, that's definitely true, because a lot of women, especially, they want to ask you when you're in the middle of the act, where they're like, oh, yeah, this is the best thing you ever had, isn't it? Where it's like, yeah, of course. The fuck? That's just like when dudes, listen,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stroke my ego too. I'm in the middle of it. If I'm balls deep, of
Who
course I'm
pussy
like,
is it?
who's your
Yeah.
daddy? You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't this the best you ever had? Of course, it's an ego thing though. You know what I mean? But this is the difference, right? I know when I'm outside of the bedroom, and like once we for a NASA terms, as I'm in Houston, once we disengage, once I de-dock from the space station,
Oh,
it's
you get canceled. We're getting canceled.
it's we get canceled. I'll be all
Right.
right, man. Fuck it. It was a good run. So once I de-dock, right, uh I know that it was just an ego trip where I'm like, most women, they're not actually gonna, I'm not gonna say most women, but some women won't actually call you daddy outside of the bedroom. Some won't like constantly stroke your ego and stuff like that, which I'm fine with. But, and I mean, there definitely has been women that, like, they call me daddy everywhere I go, shit like that. Like, they'll definitely stroke your ego, but because
Mhm.
you bring that out of them, I guess. But for most women, though, they take that bedroom mentality where they're like, "Oh, this is the best he's ever had." I made him, like I said, I made him bust, or the shit was so wet, la da 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 da. Not realizing that was mostly me, honestly, like doing a good job. Because, like I said, man, I've talked to plenty of women where I remember I slept with this chick one time, man, and she told me, she's like, "I've never come like vaginally before, like through penetration alone." And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she was like 26. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she's like from penetration, I've never come. Like, I always got to like, I got to grab a toy and I got to like rub my clit and I got to do all this other shit. Or like, I need a little bit of cunnilingus. For those of y'all that don't know what that is, that's eating pussy. And so I was like, well, that's interesting. So we sleep together the first night. After maybe like 10 minutes, she like squirts all over the fucking place. She goes to completion through penetration alone. Like, I'm not doing anything else. Where, like you said, that's very rare for a lot of women. And like, it actually like blew her mind, where she's like, listen, because I mean, I'm not gonna put her on blast like that, but she had her first kid when she was like 15. So she's been having sex since she was like 15 years old. So she's like, in these 11 years of me having sex, I've never not once come vaginally, like through penetration alone. And so I didn't actually realize how rare it is until I
Mhm.
actually started like asking and bringing it up, where it's like,
Mhm.
that's kind of crazy. Because, like you said, not all men can make women come. So when they do find that guy, like you said, they'll go fucking nuts over you, man. Like I said, there's been plenty of women where, before, back in my simping days, when I used to go to, because we say it all the time, right? Simping leads to a, oh God, what's the fucking word I'm looking
Mhm.
for? A little bit of resentment. It leads to a tiny bit of resentment when you're dealing with that woman, because you feel like she's walking all over you and she doesn't respect you. So you tend to act out in certain ways. You know what I mean? To where I would act out in what some would call toxic behavior. But yet they would
Mhm.
stick around for longer than they should have. Like, all their friends are telling them to leave me and stuff like that, where they're like, listen, good, like, it's like what Cardi B said when Offset keeps cheating on her and they're like, why don't you leave him? Good dick is hard to come by. And that's how they felt. They're like, good dick is hard to come by. So I will stay here and deal with your bullshit for a little bit. But you got about 20 more times of fucking with me till I
Yeah.
leave. Because it's never like the next time they leave. It's always like, you got about
Or they
20 more
leave and they
times and
come
then it's
back
done.
6, 9 months later, maybe a year later, after they find a guy and then they can't, that guy can't
Oh,
put it on them. So they come back to you when they're with that guy or after they're done with the guy. So, you know,
yeah. Sometimes weeks later, man. I've had it before where shit, dude. Like this girl fucking she was like, I don't want just casual sex. I was like, okay, sorry. Like that's all I'm looking for right now. And she broke it off. And then like I had her as a friend, right? Like on social media. And then she just started posting all this sexual shit where she was like, I should call him and stuff like that. And then so me me being me, I went ahead and I shot her a DM and I was like, maybe you should call him. And then my phone rings where I'm like, I knew I was him, but I was like, I just wanted you to show me I was him. And then yeah, it's like you said though, they'll date around for a little bit and maybe they'll meet another guy and then they're like, all the dick out here is garbage, or the men out here in general are garbage. And they're like, I remember you actually genuinely made me feel good about myself inside, outside the bedroom, all this jazz, blah, 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 blah. Where they're, like I said, they'll call you again, man. They'll come back around, especially if you leave on good terms. That's why I say you should never like beg or fucking grovel or, you know what I'm saying? Like make a big deal about it. Because if you pedestalize a woman and you kind of put her above yourself in a sense, she tends to lose respect for you where she's like, oh man, this guy's acting like he ain't never got no box before. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he don't get women. Maybe he hasn't been socially approved by other women yet. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been vetted correctly. Whereas, and if you treat pussy like it's just a regular old thing where it's like, listen, I could take this chocolate bar or I could go grab me a Reese's over there. I'll be fine either way. I'm gonna get my chocolate fix.
Yeah, like
they're
we were
like,
talking
ooh, I like that shit.
a couple nights ago. We were talking
Like,
about how,
whole
about equality. Like women say they want equality, but then when they get it, they resent it because you know
oh.
they want a man above them, not overlording them or being domineering or being their master. They just want someone to lead them, and they won't admit it, in words, but in their actions it shows. Okay, yeah, they want someone to listen to. They want someone that's going to take charge. Doesn't mean you have to be in charge and be an asshole and be whatever all the time, but you have to be able to define your boundaries, be able to make sure that they're going to either listen or they're going to get the road, because guys have options, or at least guys that know what they're doing have options. And talking about girls like coming back, girls also have a thing that they always want the good looking guy. Well, everybody does. Guys want the hot chick, girls want the hot guy. I had a friend in Derby. She went to a big university in Texas, and she was hooking up with the second string quarterback that was for this team. And he didn't make it to the NFL, so he was a second stringer. But after college, uh, they would kind of like keep hooking up, and over time she realized he's just not good in bed, and he was a selfish lover. Like he'd just jackrabbit, be done, and leave. And one day she finally told him, hey, you're not any good in bed, I don't want to fuck you anymore. And she yeah, it was harsh because she was tired of his shit, because she would always hook up with him thinking, okay, well, we were real drunk the other night, maybe I came and I just didn't feel it. And she'd always keep making these excuses because he was a hot guy and because all the other women wanted him. So even that social vetting, even if you're not good in bed, as long as you're attractive and have, you know, being desirable by other women, more women are gonna want you because other women want you. So that's important too, but you can't rely on that, because eventually one day you're going to lose your looks. You're going to lose that vetting because you don't have the looks to keep the women around. And then if you're not good in bed, then what do you got? Just history, just in, your past, your glory days that you can't even relive anymore.
Yeah, no, you definitely gotta. I mean, social proof definitely is good. Like I said, that's why. But see, this is the thing, right? Just speaking about like with women in general, some women they think that social proof is like, oh, if I show up with a girl who's a friend to the club, other women will find me attractive. Where it's like, not really, because it just depends, right? Like if she friend zoned you because you were somehow, I don't want to say incompetent, but she didn't see you as a viable partner. Other women can pick up on that because they're like, oh no, your friend zone hard as shit. That's why I tell women, because sometimes I just, if I'm kind of like, I don't give a shit about it anymore. Sometimes I tend to ask women, or if I kind of actually want to vet them to see if they can move on up to the next level, I kind of just ask them thought provoking questions. And sometimes it turns to intersexual dynamics where I'm like, what do you think that like a woman friend can actually do for like her male friend? And she's like, oh, when we go out, I could get him bitches. I said, first off, if he needs your help getting bitches, he don't get bitches. That's first. Second, I was like, you actually won't help, you'll harm him. And she's like, no, because I'm not pushing the girls away. Like, I'm telling them, like, oh, how good of a guy he is, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you see, look, you sound like a sleazy salesman. Like, you're trying to sell a like a fucked up product. You know what I'm saying? That you yourself do not actually use. You just are kind of, because what they really want to see is a girl being like all over you, being all lovey-dovey with you and shit like that, and being like, oh, okay, like he is a viable partner, whether he's a provider, he's good in bed, like whatever the fuck. He has proof socially that he is an acceptable lover slash partner slash provider or whatever. And that does help, but that's different from a dynamic of just, oh, you're my friend who happens to be a woman and you're just magically going to get me pussy. Like, that doesn't work like that. And also, speaking of, oh shit, I just had it on my mind.
On that note, like, you know how if there's a friend zoned
Oh.
guy, the female that has him friend zoned, she'll keep him there until she sees that other women are interested. Then she tries to stake her claim. Oh, well, I've been friends with him for years or months or whatever. So then let me curl up on him. Oh, he's my friend. Oh, you barely know him. This is my guy. We just haven't hooked up yet. Blah 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 blah. So then she ends up cock blocking him with other women because she realizes, oh, he is sexually interesting. He is sexually, um, like you said, vetted. Like, he is sexually attractive. He is desirable. So then let me
Yeah.
pull him back to me and try to use him. And sometimes she won't even sleep with him. She'll just do that to just cock block and keep him as her friend because she still wants him in that zone because she wants and needs validation.
Yeah. She either needs the validation because, let's be honest, attention for women tends to be currency a lot of the time, where they value it very highly. Whereas in men don't really need like a lot of attention. Like, you don't need attention. I mean, attention is always appreciated, but you don't need it. Whereas in women, I mean, let's be honest, that's why they tend to dominate TikTok and Instagram. You know what I mean? Whereas in actual content,
Mm-hmm.
it tends to be dominated by men, which, YouTube. It's predominantly male users that are being watched. Whereas in, again, hot photos and twerking videos, TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram, i.e., are dominated by women. Like, dominated. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times if you put content like this, the algorithm tends to push you down because it's like, women don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hear this fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear how they're a boss bitch. So you can't be promoting this bullshit, as they call it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just wild. Like I said, man, talking to women sometimes, like, this is a thing, right? Also, guys, if y'all hear this shit, do not go out there and say this to women. We're kind of bringing this more to your attention so that way you can be aware of it and use it when you're out. So that way you can pay attention and not get used, not get finessed, not fall into this simp game of giving up all your fucking resources and getting
Yeah,
literally
and call
nothing
him
in
out for it,
return.
and
You know what I'm saying?
don't be afraid to call him
Because
out. Like,
women hate
don't
hearing that shit too.
throw everything all of this out there, but call them out when they're behaving badly. Whenever they're trying to keep you in the corner as a friend zone, it's like, hey, why are you keeping me here as a friend zone? I'm here to fuck, not to be friends. And if you call them out like that, they're like, oh no, well, I didn't know you were that type of guy, blah 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 blah, and they'll try to flip it on you and make you feel bad for wanting to have sex, even though everybody knows that's what everybody wants, or especially guys.
Yeah, especially like I said, man, if you talk to a woman about having male friends, she's like, "Oh no, that doesn't count with my guy friends." Where it's like, "No, that definitely counts." Like, it's crazy. So, by the time this episode comes out, if y'all listen to last week's episode with Jenna, the high functioning shit
I
show,
missed an episode.
dude, let me tell you something right now.
Oh, okay. I
So,
was like, wait.
no,
Okay,
no, no, it's
wait a
dropping
minute.
tomorrow.
I was
It's
like, wait a minute.
dropping
What did I
for you.
miss?
It's
I was like,
dropping tomorrow.
I
That's
heard
by
the
the
one
time
from
this
Slim and his
drops,
sister in not Pineapple Dan, the other one, Slim. Yeah. Okay.
Slim. Yeah. No, no, no. So shout out to them, by the way, Splash World Radio. But and shout out Rose. No, but so I talked to Jenna, right, and we were talking about her male friends, where she was like, "Well, she's like, yeah, but my male friends are my male friends, like they're just friends." And she's like, but she's able to admit though, which I did give her credit for. She's like, however, if I did call any of
Mhm.
them right now and told them I wanted to hook up, they would not hesitate. So I'm like, well, then that's not really a friend, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
a friend is just somebody that wants something platonic with you, or where, like, I was telling my sister, because I was letting her know, I was like, listen, bro, the only reason the men keep female friends most of the time is because they think I have action to have sex with her, or she has a hot social group to where I want to keep her as a friend to get to her
Mhm.
hot ass social circle. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, A lot of people don't realize this, right? Most of the way that hookups and relationships happen is through social circle. And then after that, it's Instagram and, dating apps and shit like that. But social circle is like the number one place where most men get their potential sexual partners and their potential partners from. It's social circle. People that that you meet, or people that, think about it, even though I don't condone it because I don't shit where I eat at. But like relationships at work, how many people do we know that are, hooking up on the side and shit like that? Because they see each other 5 days out the fucking week. You know what I mean? Or there's that company picnic where finally, Susan shows up and she's not dressed in her, regular uniform. And you're like, oh shit, Susan's kind of hot over there. You know what I mean? Or Susan has a hot sister. Like, you see it happen all the time where I never condone having workplace relationships because you're going to fuck some shit up.
It don't even matter if it's
especially
a supervisor.
If it's like
all
a
it takes is for her to not like you or not like how things ended, or her being jealous of you talking to that new chick that just got hired on. And all she has to just say, doesn't have to be a lie. It's like, oh yeah, he made an appropriate comment, whether or not it was inappropriate. Like, it was fine in the moment, but now she decides months later, oh no, it was inappropriate or whatever you'd said. And so now she gets you fired. So don't shit what you eat.
Yeah, you should never do that. Like I said, man, because even then, again, this kind of goes back to the believe all women thing. She's going to be believed automatically. If you made an inappropriate comment, 9 times out of 10, they're already going to take, 9.5 times out of 10, they're going to take her word off rip and be like, okay, well, it was inappropriate. What did he say? And again, it's just mostly about, because this is the crazy part, right? About saying something inappropriate. It doesn't matter much so what you said. It's how you made her feel by what you said. You know what I mean? Because it's about her feelings, which I'm a big proponent of fuck your feelings. But that's outside the workplace, which is why in the workplace, I'm going to be honest. I do make a lot of jokes, but because I'm just a goofball, so I just like making people laugh, you know what I mean? And like where I work at, I'm by myself all day because I just drive. But in the afternoon, I have to go to like dispatch. And dispatch is just like all women. But I just enjoy like, making people laugh in general. It just so happens that it's a room full of women. But that's also because I know myself. I'm like, I would never like hook up with any of these women. You know what I'm saying? But because again, I don't want to fuck up that dynamic of like, now work is ruined for me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. Because then it's like, shit. Because it takes only one time for you, right? Of like the other girls, teasing you about something or some shit like that, where she's like, why were you being so flirty with girl XYZ over there today? You know what I mean?
Nope.
Where it's like, damn,
Nope, do it.
The fuck, I never get away from it. No, it's never worth it, man. See, you got the right idea. I'm over here fucking. Every time I see you take a sip, my mouth becomes more dry.
If it makes me feel any better, it's fucking
I'm like
3 Red Bulls basically in my big old ass Yeti cup. So,
Oh, nice. Dude, I went to the doctor today and I fucked up. So I'm an idiot, right? So I got some blood work done. I was getting my results back. And I went to the doctor to go get my results. But they still got to like take my weight, blood pressure, all that shit. Well, I just woke up from a nap. So I stop and pick up a coffee with an extra shot of espresso in it. So they take my blood pressure and they're like, please tell me you had an energy drink. And I was like, why? And they're like, because if not, you're dying. I was like, what? They're like, your shit's like almost, they're like, it's like 195 over something. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, is that bad? She's like, you're about to have a heart attack. And I was like, well, I had a coffee with a shot of espresso. And she's like, yeah, no. She's like, we're going to let you calm down. We'll do this again in like 20 minutes. I was like, okay. So in 20 minutes, it went down to where it was like, she's like, I could put this in your paperwork because it's acceptable. And she's like, because if not, she's like, I can't put this shit in your file, man. It looks like you're about to have a heart attack. Can't let you walk out of here without blood pressure
mine
medication.
Mine is always like barely on the low end. Yeah. Like if it were like 2 or 3 points lower, they're like, hey, you're like going to pass out. Like, oh, not. I just got good blood flow or whatever. I don't know, but it's just on the low end.
Yeah.
I'm always chill, man.
Just, your blood flow is like you just real chill and shit. Yeah. No, it's funny, man. I'm always at work and shit like that, dude. And like when I go into the office, my supervisor sees me and he's like falling asleep. And I'm over there, like I said, I'm entertaining everybody, making everybody laugh and shit like that. Basically doing like a whole stand-up set in the office. And then he's like, dude, how the fuck do you have so much energy? And I was like, listen, man, years of cocaine abuse will do this to you. And, allegedly, everybody. But Yeah, I always make that joke that I got so much energy, and he asked me, he's like, "Man, is your dad like this or what the fuck?" And I was like, "Nah, man." I was like, "My dad's not like this. My mom's not like this. None of my brothers and sisters." I was like, "That's why I keep questioning the mailman, man, but he don't want to answer my
Oh
questions."
man. But that would explain your brother though, because your brother, man, like some of the stories you
Yeah.
tell me, like how did you both grow up in the same household and he not have like the same idea, the same skill set? Because you tell stories that you're helping him out.
Well, well, because the thing is this, right?
Mm,
So me and him are 11 years apart. So we have like a very big age gap. And I don't know about your father, but like with my dad, the way that he raised us, because he had me when he was 21. So when he was raising me, like during my dating ages and stuff like that, he was still fairly young. And then also, he had just recently, like him and my mom just recently split up. So he was in the dating game, you know what I'm saying? And he's being very successful. So he's trying to tell me, like, listen, this is coming from a G. Like, I'm letting you know that while I'm out here, smashing all this punani, shout out to his wife, this is all a legend. Wait, and, while he's out there doing his thing or whatever, he's trying to give me advice to be better also. Whereas in now, my brother, when that happened, because like by the time that I started dating, like I said, I was like 16, 17. So he was like 8 or 9. He didn't give a fuck about girls. And then my dad got married and then he got older. So, he was kind of more just like chill, where he's like, fuck, man, I'm kind of just trying to chill right now. Like, I'm not going to be as hands on with my brother, which, I mean, listen, he's not,
yeah.
it's not like he's not loved and shit like that. It's just that, my dad's older now. So it's like he slowed down a lot. But he was actually more hands on with me, where he was trying to actually help me. But because, like I said, the thing was, I wasn't struggling to get women. I was able to get women. But again, in the episode Simping Ain't Easy, man, I believe more so what my mom said, because I'm like, oh, well, I should obviously listen to a woman to know what a woman wants. Not
Yeah.
realizing that they're ape shit crazy and they don't even know what the fuck they want. So, I'm being this nice simp. And my dad seeing me and he's like, listen, this is a lie being
Mhm.
told to you. This is what's actually attractive. That's why he was telling me, he's like, listen, you need to be confident. He's like, you're a good looking kid. You obviously don't have a problem attracting women. So what you need to do more so is just learn how to act more masculine. And he's like, because you're letting them run all over you. And of course they like it in the beginning because they have all this fucking power. He's like, they're like He-Man when his sword gets electrocuted. They're like, I
Yeah.
have the power. But then guess what? Power corrupts everything, man. So they're like, oh, I don't like this fucking shit. Or they treat you like dirt, to where, again, you grow resentful. And then you start acting like a dick, which in turn ruins everything. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, you can run simp game. I'm not saying the simp game does not exist. It definitely exists.
Mhm.
You can run that game if you want to, but it is a long, hard fucking road that leads to nothing but resentment and jealousy, and you acting like an asshole, and then her resenting you, and then those type of relationships always end poorly. Whereas, and again, if you maintain frame and you're masculine, or you have machismo as we call it, you know what I mean, where again, you being the leader in your relationship does not mean that you control this woman. You do not own her. Because I hate when I tell people, like, listen, I want peace from a woman. I want her to be agreeable, you know what I'm saying, and obedient to a certain extent, and I want to, her to follow my direction because I'm a leader. And they're like, oh, you want a fucking dog? And I'm like, no, because listen, if you've owned a fucking dog, they don't listen. Like, that's definitely not what the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? But they equate with, like, if you say, I want to be a leader in the relationship, and I want a woman to bring me peace, and I want her to follow my lead and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Now, also, there's a caveat: you have to be worth fucking following. You know what I mean? Women want to follow a good leader that they know is going to lead them down the right path. They don't want to follow a fucking loser that's gonna, not do anything for them. But most women, they hear those words and they're like, "Oh, well, you think you're better than me?" And I'm like, it doesn't have anything to do with being better than you. I'm not saying I'm better than you. Like, to a
You keep digging yourself
to a
a
certain
hole.
extent, right? we we are equal. Okay. No, because I'm not digging a hole. This is the thing, right?
Mhm.
I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that, because
Or
listen, there's
tuning
so many
out.
people yelling at their phone or their radio, whatever the fuck, right now. But yeah, that's fine. They probably turned it off by now. We're probably only talking to the ether. But um, they we're equal in a certain sense, right? Where that does not like we don't bring the same value to a relationship. So when I say that men and women are equal, we bring equal things to a relationship, but it's not the exact same. Women think because like, oh, the most common one that I fucking hate is, or it's like, what do you bring to the table? And it's like, I bring the table to the table. It's like, shut up. Because again, there are certain things that I'm supposed to provide in a relationship. You know, uh, I have physical superiority. Let's just be honest. Any average man can beat the shit out of damn near any woman. You know what I mean? We're just that's how our muscles are set up. You know, we tend to be bigger, faster, stronger. Just generally speaking, men are supposed to be providers. You know what I mean? So economically, preferably because most women, like a stat that I brought up with Jenna, it's
Hmm.
26 to 58% more that a woman wants you to make than she does. So if a woman makes $100,000, at a bare fucking minimum, you have to make
Hmm.
somewhere around $135,000 for you to qualify to play. So, you know what I mean? Because she wants a provider who can provide for her and y'all possible children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be a provider. Again, you should be physically superior to your woman just biologically, but you know, it doesn't hurt to get in the gym. And like I said, there's certain things that you provide in a relationship on your
Hmm.
half of the table. And there's certain shit that she provides. You know what I'm saying? Women are naturally better caretakers. You know what I mean? That's why they tend to go to be teachers, nurses, daycare workers, shit like that, because they naturally
Hmm.
gravitate towards people while men gravitate towards
One
things.
thing that you were saying about
You know, that's why
equality, I
they tend
think
to go towards
what
them and
would
shit like
be a
that.
better fit or better wording
But
or verbiage is compatibility. Like it's not that we're equal 50%. It's kind of like that yin yang. We fit each other well,
there you
but
go.
there's things that we're better at. There's things that women are better at. Not just the
Yes.
physicality or emotions. It's a variety of things that
Yeah.
excuse me, that women can calm down or are good at being
Yeah.
able to calm or soothe a male to be able to put him at ease because we are not that we're smarter,
Hmm.
just the being us being able to use logic or attack or approach things as a logical standpoint and automatically to fix things. That is just in our nature to fix problems. Whereas women want to understand things. So it
Hmm.
doesn't it doesn't mean that one thing is better than the
Yeah.
other. It's just different way of approaching the same type of problem, type of tactic, and you can still come up with the same result.
Yeah.
It might take one longer than the other. It might be easier or less troublesome or less problems for the other, but still, the point is that again, we should be complementary to each other, and it shouldn't be always attacking. And like you were saying, what do you bring to the table? I never ask that about a woman, not because, you know, well, part of it is because I don't want to have to hear that, oh, I am the table in that whole argument. I want to see what they bring to the table. That's why I date them, or when I was dating, I would date them for about a year, 6 months to a year before I would decide, okay, you know what? And even before that 6 month mark, they would just filter themselves out
Mm.
because they don't want to put up the front of that honeymoon stage that everybody puts on, that mask of, oh, I'm this great person. I have no bad traits about me. And, everybody shits, everybody farts, everybody does bad things. And somebody's gonna steal pins, someone's gonna fucking pick their boogers and fling them all over the place. You never know what somebody's gonna do until you get to know them over time. And the biggest thing for me is how they treat service staff, service people. And if she doesn't tip or if she yells at
Mm.
them for, it's not their fault that the food comes out bad. You know, if they put the order in wrong, fine. But if it's undercooked or if you got a different plate, whatever, you never know.
Yeah.
It's more than likely a kitchen staff being overworked or understaffed. And, you know, seeing how they treat people that are beneath them, quote unquote, you see it gives you an idea of the personality, and then you're gonna realize, hey, she's gonna be a problem dating. She'll fucking if you end up losing your job for whatever reason, now she's gonna think she's better than you because you're not bringing in, money. Which, depending on your job or your trade or your career, it could just take you a couple of days or a week, maybe even a month to get back into the job market, or it might even take you longer than that. But whatever the case is, if she's going to treat a service person like that, how's she going to treat you whenever you're down on your luck? And so that's why you need to see someone that's going to make your life easier, or be with someone who's going to make your life easier, rather than being with someone that's just hot and looks good and that's all she has to
Yeah.
offer.
Yeah. See, because that's the thing, right? Too that I tell women sometimes, right? A man will settle for a woman who's, I guess, on a scale. You know, if you want to use that right now, who's like a 6 or a 7. if she has other attributes
Mhm.
that are greater, because a guy can put aside physical beauty where he's like, listen, you bring so much peace to my life, and you do this and you do that and you do this and you do that, to where, could I have a hotter woman? Fuck yes. But will this hotter woman do more for me in my life? Probably not. So I have no problem, quote unquote, settling for somebody who I think is, I don't even want to say beneath, but like, again, just you have the capabilities to get hotter women, but you're choosing again to settle at a 6 or 7. Whereas a lot of women, they tend not to really move their standards whatsoever. Which, if you put in their standards, most women, what do they want? Somebody who makes over 6 figures, somebody who's over 6 feet tall. If you got anything, if you, I call it the rule of six,
Mhm.
right? So it's 6 figures, 6 feet, and a minimum of 6 inches. Because you got anything less than 6 inches, it's like, which again, women don't understand the averages of most men, especially here in America, right? So 6 feet tall is not the average national height. You know what I'm saying? Like, only 3% of men are 6'2" and higher, and I think it's like 8% for 6 feet and higher, something like that. Not very many. You know what I mean? Men that get over 6 figures, there's only 15% of the U.S. population. That's men and women that earn over 6 figures. The average penis size is 5 inches on hard. So it's like, you know what I mean? You don't actually understand how rare these three qualities are. You know what I'm saying? To find all in one man where they're like, that's okay. I'm going to hold out. Because they hear, so it's not impossible. Where it's like, it's not impossible, but it's highly improbable. The women don't operate, I notice, off probabilities. It tends
Mhm.
to be more possibilities. Like, if it's possible, I can chase that. Whereas in men look more at probabilities where they're like, what's the probability of this fucking shit happening to me? You know what I mean? Like, what's the chances of me finding a girl that's going to check all my fucking boxes? Not very high. So instead, I'll take somebody who gets maybe like 80%, and then we'll work on that last 20. You know what I'm saying? Because that 20 I can kind of give or take, where it's like, God, we are getting canceled today. Women are malleable, okay? I know, I know some women don't like hearing that shit, but women are malleable. And when I say that, I'm not saying you're fucking clay. I can't mold you in my hands. However, though, if you find a man that you love, admire, and respect, a lot of times, think about it. Most women, some women, don't know shit about sports, right? However, though, if their man is a fan of a certain team, you'll see them with that fucking jersey.
Nope.
And they'll talk about, oh yeah, baby, we cheer for that team. They don't know one fucking player on that goddamn team. They don't know not one
Yeah.
stat. They couldn't tell you a bitch ass thing. They're watching a baseball
Mhm.
game going touchdown. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I mean. They're very malleable to somebody that they love, admire, and respect. Now, again, you have to earn her love, her admiration, and her respect. Again, these are three things that are earned. And if you can earn those things, she's very malleable. That's why women have a hive mindset, because they're very malleable. A lot of times their mind will be influenced by their friends' dumbass thoughts. Where, again, guys, if you haven't heard it before, if you're new here to Block Talk,
So
we are getting canceled
yeah,
today.
I wanted to
It's
touch
all
on,
right.
on two things before you went on. So
if you're
when
new
you were
here,
talking about just like looks,
oh sorry,
I rank them
last
on
thought.
four things. So it's not just
Go
looks. I
ahead.
call it shit slacks. So sexual compatibility, looks, attitude, and an X factor. So my scoring is like hexadecimal from 0 to F. So 0 through 9, and then A B C D E F G through F, or A B C D E F. And so 0 to 4 points for you know sex or sexual compatibility. Like if they're into the things I am, which is rare. Most of the time, the best a woman's going to get is a 3 with me. It's just because I'm fucked
Hmm.
up. As far as looks, instead of a scale of 1 to 10 is just 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Okay.
And because we're going too far in the deep end. Either you're hot, attractive,
Hmm.
cute, or ugly. Like you can break it down that simply instead of trying to say, oh, she's a 5 or she's average. Um, Flags, shit. And then X is the X factor. It's just like something that just fucking makes her cool. Like whatever you don't like short hair. Or personally, I'm into long hair, skirts, and an hourglass figure. But maybe there's this little cute little thin petite thing with the pixie haircut. You know what? There's just something about her that drives me wild. Like normally I wouldn't go for that, but she's got an X factor. but she's not super whatever. So she'll get like a two in the X Factor. She might get another couple of points because
Yeah.
she's into rugby or she's into some kind of sport or some kind of thing that I'm into or knows about some type of video game, is into that. Okay, so she'll get 3 points in that X Factor. So that's where you get the big picture of things, because like you were saying, you'll settle for a 6 or 5 or 4 or 7 or whatever if you have these other things that are in place. So take into account those other things for that whole total score. That's at least how I look at things or how I do them.
Mhm.
Shit, you were talking about another thing. I was like, there's two things I wanted to talk about and I forgot the other one. What was you talking about after looks? No, no, no. It was on malleability, because I mean that kind of works all together with the like the X factor and the attitude. Because
Malleability.
their attitude, if they're cheerful or bubbly, then okay, fine, that's a three. But then it can be annoying, so it's a two. So there's those different things. Looks, love and respect. Yeah, there we go.
Uh,
So love, earning love.
love,
I
respect, and
agree that it's
admiration
earned, but it's
for
one
other
of those
man.
things. It's like a slow burn. So whenever you fall in love, or whenever I fall in love, it's never like, oh, you know what? She did A, B, C,
Yeah.
G, and X, and I love her because of it. No, it's something that you just wake up one day and you realize, you know what? I love this bitch. It's not like she hits a metric, or it's not like it hits a certain point. It's something that you just realize over time, or you just wake up one day and like, you know what? She makes me feel this. She makes me feel that. We've done this together. We've gone through all this stuff together. I fucking love this bitch. I fucking love her. I'll do anything for her. And it's not. It is earned in a sense, at least from that point,
Yeah.
because it builds up over time. But it's not a hard metric. So it's okay. So maybe you are right. Love is earned.
Yeah, it's not like respect or
Mhm.
admiration. Whereas in like respect or admiration can be like it can be earned like on a number scale. But I'm saying
Mhm.
before you get to love, there has to be respect and admiration because women love men that they respect and that they admire. If she doesn't respect you or admire you, or like let's say that she does respect you and admire you, right, and then she falls in love with you, and then you do something that for lack of a better term to hear we say on Block Talk, she gets the ick, and where like she just gradually keeps losing respect for you. Like I talked about it with Rose, I talked about it with Jen. If you gradually lose respect for your man, naturally love is lost a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I know that sometimes like that's not very nice to say or politically correct where they're like, no, I love my man no matter what. That's nice in theory. However, though, you know what I mean? You also love your man though because he was a provider. He showed you these certain traits and these qualities, this ambition, all this other shit that he showed you. And now all of a sudden he's showing you something that's not congruent. And that's what I mean, man. Like when you say that most women don't make it past that stage, it's the same way for men, bro, because I'm showing you that for these 6 months for this year, I'm congruent with everything I'm fucking saying and doing. I am that individual. Like shit's not going to change in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Shit's not going to change in a year. Like because this is not a facade I'm putting up. This is not a front. This is who I am. So again, you kind of get rid of that
Mhm.
mask that people tend to wear for like 2 to 3 weeks to a fucking month, and then all of a sudden, you'll be like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend," and it's like, the fuck, bro? Like, you don't even know this person. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm definitely against moving in with your girl
Mhm.
before y'all been together for a good
Mhm.
long while. You know what I'm saying? But because though, again, you need congruency. Some people will show you only a certain light of them, and we talked about it a couple days ago. Some women offer things to be in a position of power. Like some women, they'll offer to co-sign something for you, or they'll offer to let you move in and shit like that. Where it's like, of course, baby, it's just because I want to help you because you're my man. Where really, again, they're trying to get this superiority over you. And then when they get that superiority, they realize, like, again, they start losing respect, they start losing love, they start doing typically fuck shit where they
Corrupts,
tend to
absolutely.
abuse that
Mhm.
power because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And yeah, man, that shit goes to their head sometimes, and then they're like, "Well, I can do whatever the fuck I want." I remember the first and only time that I moved in with a chick, man. I was 19 years old, and this is a chick. Uh, I told you after the podcast that I was simping for, and I moved in with her, right? Because she already had her own apartment. Now, I moved in with her. And I remember before I moved in, she sat me down because she's like, okay, we need to talk about the rules. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And she said, we need to talk about the rules. And I'm like, okay, sure. Give me said rules. I want to hear this shit. And she wrote them out. Like she had bullet points. Like she really planned this shit out. She had this presentation ready. So, kudos to her for preparations. Now, guy, I need you to be prepared for this dumbassery, okay? Because it's coming in hot. She's like, okay. She's like, your friends can't come over. But my friends could come over when the fuck they want. If your friends do come over, y'all got to stay on the porch. Y'all can't come inside. My girls, if they want to, we could go inside the bedroom because, they're my friends. I was like, okay. And she's like, I go out on the weekends, so you're going to have to stay and babysit. But if you want to maybe go out like on a Wednesday or Thursday, that's cool with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I usually have to work anyway. And I'm like, okay, keep going. And she's like, I don't really have time to cook, so don't really like expect any food. You know what I'm saying? If you want to pick yourself up something, I'd ask that you kind of pick me up something too, just, out of the general kindness of your heart. And I was like, okay, keep going. And, those are the main ones that I remember because those were the three that most pissed me off. But that's what I'm saying. And then I told her, I said, well, listen, I was like, can I see that paper? And she's like, yeah. So she gives me the paper or whatever, and I'm reading it. And I'm like, damn, you wrote this out and everything, huh? She's like, yeah, so I just want to make sure that I said it right. I didn't want to offend you, nothing like that. And I just tore it out the notebook, and then I just tore it up because I was like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I was like, the fuck? I'm like, first off, I was like, fuck your ugly ass friends. I was like, listen, if they're quote unquote allowed inside the house, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I was like, because guess what? I said, this may be your place, but I pay the bills now. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, this is my shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, and again, this is where I'm on that simp shit. So I'm like, this is a 50-50 partnership. So whatever you can do, I can do also. Like a dumbass. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying, man. But again, that goes back to the superiority thing. I fucked up. That's why now, like I said, I will never, ever move in with a chick that like it's her place. You know what I'm saying? And even then, like I said, I don't want to move in with a chick until we've maybe been together like 2-3 years. Like it's got to be down the line. You know what I'm saying? And it's just got to make sense for me fiscally where I'm like, okay, it makes sense that we move in together type shit. You know what I mean? But that, like I said, that really showed me and it opened my eyes because I'm like, damn, bro, like if you really let a woman think that she's superior to you in any way,
and then lose respect
she
for
will
you, and then
try
eventually
her damnedest
get tired
to
of
show
you and
you
start
how
fucking
superior
doing
she
things,
is.
just test you until you have no boundaries
Yeah.
and you're fucking, Johnny Depp getting
Fall out
fucking
of love
shit
with you.
on.
Oh. Yeah, literally. Man, listen, women, we said on your podcast, women are like children sometimes. They naturally test the boundaries. You know what I mean? And this was crazy. If you tell anybody this, where you tell guys, you're like, listen, a woman's going to test your boundaries and you shouldn't let her push your boundaries. You have to stay stiff. They're like, well, what the fuck? That's not right. That's not pushing boundaries. Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't punish a woman. And they're like, yes, you should, because it's like a child. If a child keeps pushing your boundaries, you're not going to let a child push your boundaries. You're going to punch that child and tell him sit the fuck down somewhere and shut up. And it's like, you can't compare women to children. I was like, yeah, you can. You totally can. The fuck you mean?
A couple times.
The biggest example is, I'm sure that you've heard of Andrew Tate, right? Yeah, guys blowing up all over the internet. Yeah, shout out to the big G or top G. And he did an interview with XQC XQC, where he asked him, he was like, listen, if your girl wanted to do OnlyFans, would you let her do OnlyFans? He's like, I would tell her I wouldn't want her to do OnlyFans. But if she was just so adamant about doing it, she'd have to pay me. And he got super mad and he was upset. And he's like, that's fucked up that you're putting a monetary value on her doing something that wants to make her feel fulfilled. And he's like, listen, there's only 2 reasons to do OnlyFans: attention and money. And it's like, and I'm a multi-millionaire, so you don't need the fucking money. You know what I'm saying? He's like, so you're just doing it for attention. Why am I going to let you show off what is essentially my property to the internet for money and I not get anything out of it? Which I get the gist of what he's saying. He's basically saying in a long way, no, where it's like, listen, because you're not going to want to give me your money, because if you're not making any fucking money off it, what's the point of you doing OnlyFans? Which again, if you get with a girl, you definitely should not let her do OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Not if you want to take her serious. If it's just some little side piece that you're fucking, let her do whatever the fuck she wants. It doesn't really fucking matter. It doesn't affect your life. And you just know to keep her in that side bitch category. But I totally get what he's saying, where she's doing it as a way to kind of test you a little bit. So he's just kind of showing her, like, listen, I'm the fucking man. I'm telling you, I don't want you to do it. But if you're that adamant about doing it, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to be your boss in this endeavor, basically, where you have to pay me. So this is more of like, still, I'm your superior. You know what I'm saying? Where, again, not better than you, just saying you're paying me as if I'm your boss. So I kind of get what he's saying in a sense. But the point I wanted to highlight more was what XQC said, where he's like, that's so wrong, because if she's doing something that makes her feel fulfilled, it's wrong of you to try to stop that. I think that's why a lot of guys, because this is a society thing, they
Mm-hmm.
let their women basically run all over them. Where you
Yeah,
should
and on
kind
that
of,
whole
if
fulfillment
you
thing,
have a
like she
boundary, you
doesn't
should
have to
say
get
something.
fulfilled through
You know what I
OnlyFans. She
mean?
could
If
get
you're
fulfilled
uncomfortable with
through
something, you
other
should say
means, through
something.
other things. She could do arts and crafts. She could make candles. She could do all kinds of other things. She could do TikToks on the candles she makes. She could do TikToks on, any arts and crafts thing that she wants to do. Something she hadn't done since she was a girl. Maybe someone's going to be really interested in, fucking paper mache, whatever. You never know, because every day something new is coming out. New Shopify thing. Oh shit, that's so cute, and Pinterest and all this other crazy shit, Etsy, whatever. So it doesn't have to be OnlyFans, and that's going back
Mm-hmm.
to women wanting validation, which is mostly the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they want to be fulfilled; it's that they want that validation from others, because that's the only way that they can exert any type of control. And instead of being satisfied and content and fulfilled in the relationship, they're trying to get an external validation from other people, where, you know instead of, because it's a whole societal thing where we, excuse me, where we're, um, the next one is so easy. The next one is just a swipe to the right. Instead of focusing on what we have, any little thing that, we have a problem with, or the girls have a problem with, or don't agree with, then they'll just go open up their IG, open up their DMs, and then just start talking to any random guy that's going to make them feel pretty and attractive, and whatever it is, because their boyfriend, told them no today, or whatever. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Instant validation. Yeah, man. Because uh, the greatest power that you have as a man, right? Because it's mostly men listening to this. If you're a woman, shout out. Not saying you can't listen, just kind of giving advice to guys here real quick. The greatest power that you have in a relationship is walking away. Because if she fears, now listen, y'all gonna hate hearing this.
Mhm.
With respect, there has to come a bit of fear. Not saying she's scared of you, but it's fear of loss. She's scared to lose you, which is why you need to become someone that, again, she respects, and she has genuine fear of losing you, because she knows this is the greatest guy I've ever been with. There's not going to be
Mhm.
anybody better. If she has that fear of loss, that'll kind of cut down on a lot of fuckery. But if she knows no matter what she does, you're not ever going to fucking leave, what is there to fear? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I know he's not going anywhere. I could literally do whatever the fuck I want. And his dumb ass is going to sit here and watch my kids, or his dumb ass is going to fucking sit here on the couch and play his video games while I'm out there sucking on Tyrone's dick, or doing whatever the fuck I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? While I'm out here getting attention from dudes and doing all this other shit. The greatest asset that you have in a relationship is the power to walk away. And please exercise that fucking right. Because too many women think, I'm the best, I'm the greatest thing to walk God's green earth. I'm the best thing in invention ever since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? Every bitch is a bad bitch. Every bitch is a 12. So you hold the power to walk away, bro. If you see some fuckery you don't like, bring it up. And if she still continues with the fuckery, leave. And I mean, leave, cut it all the way off. And then when she realizes what she's lost, and she's going to get some fucking act right. And either she's going to come back, or she's going to fuck off. And if she fucks off, guess what? You're the better for it. Because again, man, there's too many women out here for you to be simping over one of them. And again, not being respected in your relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because as a man, that's what you want. You want respect, from your peers, from your colleagues, from whoever the
Mhm.
fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like you want respect as a man. That's why we take disrespect so harshly. And yet, the crazy part is, I know guys that won't take any disrespect from a man, but they'll take all kinds of sideways disrespectful shit from their woman. And that's crazy to me because it's like, listen, if you're willing to stand up to a grown man where there are actual physical consequences, why can't you stand up to a girl that there's the only consequence is she's not going to be there no more? Which, listen, there's plenty of other women. Or if you're just like that in need to bust a nut where you need a woman that bad, Pornhub is free, my guy. You know what I'm saying? There's too many.
Talking
there's
about
too
that
many
fear,
channels.
my
The internet is crazy nowadays.
Once a month,
you know what I'm saying?
say, "You're not going to leave
There's
me,
too many women out here sucking dick.
Like, not right now, And it's not said as a threat. It's just like, hey, and she behaves like fucking like pretty much all the time. And the biggest thing for her is whenever she has something that she doesn't like, and it's not, I can't even think of one. Like she'll have a bad day, just a bunch of stuff's not going wrong, not going right for her, and she'll have not an emotional breakdown, but she'll just have like an outburst, like fuck, this is a shitty day, blah 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 blah. So she has an outburst around me. It's not like she's mad at me, yelling at me because I walked in whenever something fucked up. She's like, God damn it, this isn't working, and she's yelling at the thing, right? And then she'll come out to me later, leave me for that. I'm like, no, it's okay for you to be upset. It's okay for you to be angry and get it out. Never gonna be okay for you to yell at me. That's never gonna be cool. And so no, I'm not gonna do that. And that's just something that as men, like, and I'm glad you brought it up. And it wasn't even something I thought about. I never thought about, oh yeah, she needs to be afraid of me. It's just something that's always there. I know she's afraid of me leaving. She never wants to lose me because, in her words, I'm the best guy that she's ever been with. And all around as far as the relationship. Even my ex-wife, my first wife, her only complaint was that I didn't keep it in my pants. But that was also my fault because I failed to communicate early on. The fucked up thing about that is that we would be let's see, in like about a month would be our 20th anniversary if we'd stayed together. And that was a great relationship. I fucked it up. She was a great woman. The thing that I fucked up there is her head game, man, fucking chef's kiss for that one. God damn. So one night I'm driving and you're in the north side, so you know this. It's 45 north going east on Beltway. Like when you go into the Beltway, that little long curve when you get onto the Beltway from 45. So she was getting me about to finish on that overpass.
Yeah, that
I can't
overpass.
close my eyes because if I close my eyes on that overpass, we're going up and over. So I told her stop. I told her stop, right? But I said it in such a way that she like thought I meant never give me head again. So that was just a seed of resentment that we just kept going on and on. Like, hey, how come you're not doing this? Or how am I doing that? But we never had that conversation because I didn't clarify, hey, stop, we're gonna crash. I said just stop, instead of stop, we're gonna crash, or we could crash. So she took it as stop, we'll never do it again. And so our whole relationship got fucked up because I didn't communicate with her because I was a dumbass. I was in my 20s and I didn't try to make it work with her. And so, because I wasn't getting what I wanted, fuck it, I go around, I'm going to have sex 3 times a week, whether she was there or not. And, over time, she just got tired of it and we eventually got divorced. But had I had that conversation, hey, look, babe, this is what I meant, then we probably would still be together. And we probably saw this podcast, but it'd be more of how to have a successful, happy marriage versus, how to go out there and fucking be a tomcat.
all of this is to lead to a loving relationship, right? This is the thing, right? I'm giving you guys advice to be more attractive. Now, that being said, right? To be more attractive to more women. Yes, desirable. To be more desirable to more women. Okay? Now, that being said, there's a caveat. Me, myself, I do well for myself, but I'm doing this all trying to find a relationship and trying to find a woman that I can see myself spending the rest of my life with. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm still single for those of y'all that know me. Is again, usually because, again, most women, they either don't want to wait that 6-month period or that year period, or they can't keep the facade up, so we end up, splitting or whatever the fuck. But that's irrelevant. Like I said, the goal is eventually to find someone who I can see myself spending every day with and shit like that. But I am giving y'all advice so that way y'all don't get taken advantage of and shit like that, man. Because y'all be scared to communicate. You know what I mean? Because y'all feel like if I say anything that upsets her and that tilts the balance of the relationship, I'm not gonna get any more sex. And y'all act like that's just the worst shit that could happen to you. Is like, oh no, I won't get pussy for however long. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, or like how you said, like some guys they tend to like throw a tantrum. You know what I mean? Like they kind of revert back to like a child almost, and they like just kind of start doing petty shit. Where it's like,
Yeah,
listen,
it's been a
man,
while.
you
It's
gotta
it's
you gotta
oh
pick your
god,
nuts up.
that's
You
I
gotta
saw
pick
when
your
it
nuts
came out,
up. You know what I mean?
so
Have you ever seen the movie
I'm
Major
that
League
old.
with Charlie Sheen in it? Yeah. Okay. Do you remember that Cuban guy, right? Well, it's Major League Two. Do you remember that Cuban guy who like
No, I don't think I saw it too.
he used to pray to that voodoo god all the time, give it cigars and rum? Anyway, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. There's a Cuban guy on there that he gives rum and cigars to this voodoo god. Anyway, they come back for the second movie. He's become like a Buddhist. So anyway, there's this Japanese guy who's like you. He doesn't speak English that good. He's like, you ain't got no marbles, and he tells him, he's like, what? You ain't got no marbles, and he's like, is he talking about huevos? And he's like, yeah. So then he hits a home run and he dangles his hands in front of his shit and does like a monkey nut dance. Or he's like, I got nuts, man. That's my whole thing. You gotta hold your nuts, dog. You gotta watch Major League Two and watch that run that he does, or just look it up on YouTube. But you gotta hold your nuts because a lot of guys, man, they
Mhm.
cut their nuts off and give it to their girl to put it into her purse. Like, here you go, baby. Hold this for me for when I need it. Like, nah, man, you got to be congruent with yourself. You can't be learning this shit to be like, okay, I got to be masculine. I got to be more confident. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then do that to attract her and then become a different motherfucker. Because that's the thing. A lot of people, they become masculine listening to Suicides are my favorite, listen to Block Talk, Splash Road Radio, whatever you listen to, whatever self help, Fresh and Fit, Rolo Tomasi, whatever you listen to. You listen to this shit and you take it and you use it for a short period of time to where you get a girl and then you revert back to who you were before. And then the exact same thing happens again, where again, you start showing this simp behavior or you start allowing all this
See, with
fuckery and
that,
she
like
starts walking
taking
all
all
over
this
you all
stuff
over
wherever they
again.
pick it
And then
up,
you're right back
I
in the
think
same
that
boat that you
falls more
started in.
under
You got to be
PUA,
congruent with
pickup
who you
artists,
are.
where they're picking and choosing what'll work to get a woman, but they never learn how to be a better man, how to improve themselves. And another thing that I fucking try to not drill into, try to get across to the guys that I work with is always improve yourself. Like you should always try to be better. Maybe not every day, but at least pick up something new every week because, there's always going to be someone that's going to be bigger, stronger, better, faster than you. So try to be better for yourself because once you
Yeah.
stop, you're going to be stagnant. You got to be like a shark, just always moving, always being better. And that doesn't mean you have to become an asshole overnight. You don't have to be, this super alpha Chad asshole that's going to fucking, take on and kick everybody's ass. You need to be better for yourself. You need to improve your mind. You need to improve your muscles. You need to improve your memory. You need to improve everything about you to make you more attractive because,
Yeah.
like I said before, never give a woman all your time, your money, or your dick. And like you say, your meat. So, same kind of thing. That was from my father. Here we go. Sorry,
You're
that's my alarm to get up to go to work, but I have it every way. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
um, improving yourself, oh shit, who started the remote? Whatever. So improving yourself is going to make you more attractive to women. And by improving yourself, you're going to always have that congruency. You're going to have that steady keel and evenness of who you are versus having a mask of, oh yeah, this is what I need to pick up a chicken. This is what I need to hook up with her. Okay, how are you going to learn to have a relationship with a woman? How are you going to learn to be able to be a leader? Because you're not going to be able to keep a woman. And going around and chasing all these women all the time, like having one night stands every other weekend, or having a weekend fling with the chick. Now you're spinning your wheels because now next weekend you're going out spending money trying to find a new chick, whereas you could have a girlfriend, save money, hang out, and do fucking cheap, simple shit with them, versus chasing all these girls, trying to juggle them, trying to remember, okay, what did I say to this one? What did I say to that one? Fucking, you know, being a man isn't how many women you've hooked up with. Being a man is being a better you. my opinion.
No, definitely, man. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. So a lot of things that pickup artists teach also that, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they definitely teach like good psychological shit, I guess, but they just tell you like you need to be confident, be confident, be confident. Like you're just gonna wake up one day and tell yourself, "Oh, I'm confident," and then all of a sudden you're confident. It's like from what I heard from shout out to Fresh and Fit, and a lot of those male self help podcasts like this and stuff like that that's targeted towards men that most women tend to hate. If it actually helps, man, take what helps and then you can leave the rest. I always say that shit. If there's only one or two things that I say that help you and then the rest you're like, he's a fucking moron, hey, at least those one or two things helped. But that being said, confidence comes from competence, which leads to accomplishments. Okay? You need to become a competent fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Again, get your ass to the gym, read a fucking book. YouTube, you can learn literally fucking anything on there. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet is literally your fucking oasis. The problem is too many guys spend all this time chasing women, all this time absorbing porn in crazy amounts, all this time just fucking off, not actually doing anything. And the best thing that happened for me, because again, man, I tell y'all all the time, I used to be a simp. I used to be a dork. I used to be a fucking quote unquote loser when it came to dealing with women. This shit, I didn't learn this overnight. You know what I mean? Like, I hit the gym so I could feel better about my fucking self, which I cannot wait to go back. Hopefully next week when I see my physical therapist, I get cleared. But yeah, man, I went to the gym. I started working on my body, feeling better about myself. I started learning more. I started going out to be social, not to get women. Because again, man, some of y'all conversation just sucks because y'all don't know shit about dick. You know what I'm saying? So all y'all can talk about is very few things. Whereas, and listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I know a little bit about a lot to where I can carry on a conversation with a bunch of random people. You know what I'm saying? Where I can have a conversation with a litigation lawyer. I can have a conversation with a dating and sex expert. I can have a conversation with, a two-time world kickboxing fucking champion, DJ, whoever the fuck. I can have conversations with people, and most of y'all fundamentally lack that ability where y'all don't know enough about anything. Y'all got to do things that pique your interest. Get a fucking hobby, bro. Like, don't do things in the pursuit of women. Do it in the pursuit of self-happiness and like just again becoming a better person for yourself, becoming competent, which will lead to confidence, which will lead to accomplishments. Like I said, man, maybe stop dating for a while. Slim told the story. He stopped dating for a whole year. And he's like, I'm just gonna focus on fucking work. And then he ended up getting 2 fucking promotions. Cause he was just like, I'm gonna stop chasing so much pussy. I'm just gonna only focus on work, which I've been slacking on. And then he got 2 promotions just from putting aside, okay, pussy's not everything. I can kind of put that shit to the side. If it comes, it comes. Too many of y'all focus too much on how am I gonna get women this weekend? I gotta go out 3 times a fucking week to get women. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all put too much stock in the power of pussy where y'all pedestalize it and it's not actually like you don't need it to live, bro. It's not like on the level of water and food like some of y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to prioritize more so y'all happiness, y'all mental health, and like just becoming a better man for yourself. Like I said, getting that promotion that you've been looking forward to, becoming a better speaker. You know what I mean? Getting into that hobby that you've been fucking putting off forever. Like that would be
Yeah,
my advice. Again, just as far as like dating goes, you need to focus on yourself. You don't have to be a fucking jock to be great with women, man. This shit can be learned, but by you becoming a better individual yourself and not putting her above everything fucking else. Put yourself first and get your life right. Once you build your castle, it's like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And listen, you must
yeah.
become to come. Just remember that. You must become to come. So if you're a fucking nobody, hey man, you know what I'm saying? You get out what you put in. So make sure that you invest heavily in your fucking self.
Biggest thing, or one thing, is figure out your motivation. Figure out what drives you, what pushes you. And for me personally, so there's
Don't
2
let it be
things I
pussy.
fucking love. No, no, no. More than that, I fucking love the misery of others, and I love shocking people. So, and I was saying it this way. So my favorite thing is being able to have a conversation, like you were talking about, being able to talk a little bit about everything. Is whenever I talk to random people. and my girlfriend's sister. You know, when I first met her, we had a couple conversations, and then a couple of times that she comes and visits, and we hang out with each other. One day she finally asked me, "Hey, what college did you go to?" Because she's got a doctorate, and I was like, "No, I didn't. I have like 12 hours of college, community college," and she was just fucking shocked that she could not believe that I could keep up with her. She's a chemist. My girlfriend's a biologist or microbiologist. She works with, like, she's basically a virus scientist.
Mm-hmm.
So I can keep up with conversations with both of them. And, with anybody, like you said, with lawyers, doctors, any type of thing. And, I may not know how to fucking perform a surgery or whatever, but I know a lot about musculature. I know enough about skeletal system. I know about, just about anything, and just go down a rabbit hole. Personally, I spend a lot of my free time as a nerd on Google Scholar. That's a website that basically, uh, or that's the Google for searching theses from all colleges. And I'll go there, read a thesis about whatever fucking topic I just fucking am bored about or interesting about. And I can't read the theses because it's just trying to read that thing is fucking boring as shit. But I'll go to the footnotes and
It's
see
like reading
who was
IKEA
cited.
instructions.
Yeah, like reading IKEA section, but reading the footnotes, reading the who the authors were, who the different people are, and then looking for them on YouTube and seeing what they were talking about, and they'll expand more on whatever they learned. And then you'll find out, of course, this thesis was written in '86, and you'll see something on YouTube that was done in 2006, and they say, okay, my thesis was wrong back in '86, but this is what I've learned. This is what else, and you can fucking expand your mind so much more in that way than fucking looking at TikToks and looking at bitches twerking, or you know TikTok. I prefer to have like the DIY stuff, life hacks, those type of things that are going to improve my life and make me smarter and better than to just look at tits and ass. Because at the end of the day, you know, like you said, pussy isn't everything. In a relationship, once you settle down into where I'm at, you know, getting laid 3 or 4 times a week is great. But I mean, I'm fine because the emotional connection, the happiness that I have, and the joy that I have with my girlfriend, beats going out and chasing pussy and getting a hot chick, 3 or 4 times a month, an average chick 5 times a month, and then an ugly chick because it's been 2 days. It's not worth it.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. How long have we been recording? I can't even see the fucking timer.
So it was like an hour and like 5 minutes before my alarm went off. So then, so an hour and 18, hour and 20-ish for right now.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that I'm not keeping you too long, man. I know you got to go work
Oh,
and
no,
shit
no,
like
no,
that.
I'm good. I'm good. Like my energy drinks kicked in, and now I gotta go take a piss.
That's cool, man. Because listen, my old ass has to get to bed anyway. But hey, man, again, it's always so great to fucking have you on here and have these conversations. You and me talk a lot, just off podcast and just have regular conversations and shit like that. Because I just love talking to you. But definitely go ahead, man. Once again, let the people know where they can find you at, everywhere they can find you, social media and all that stuff.
Easiest way to find me is susias.xyz, and I'm Susias are my favorite on TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. Those are usually the places I'm most active. You'll see my mind, see how it works on Reddit. You'll see the fuckery that me and you have from time to time on Instagram, and then
Yeah,
on TikTok, it's basically the same thing on there too. So
yeah. So guys, make sure that y'all like his stuff. Go follow him. Give him a 5-star review, all that jazz. And if y'all ain't yet, hit up the Instagram, man. Give me a like. Give me a follow. If you slide into my DMs, ask me any questions. I'll make sure to try to address it on the podcast. And if I don't know it, I'm going to try to get an expert like Guy or somebody else on so that way they can answer any questions that you guys have. Thank y'all so much. So this will release on the week of, let me tell you the right fucking day because I don't want to be a liar. The 12th, because so for those y'all listening to this on the 12th, I'm actually in Cancun right now. So if y'all go to Instagram, y'all can see what I'm up to, all the fuckery I'm getting into in Mexico right now. But thank you so much, man, for helping me out once again, Guy. It's all love, brother. I appreciate you coming on here and helping these young gentlemen try to be better motherfuckers.
anytime.
All right, man. Thank you so much once again.